Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Please. Just give me a second now. ಹಿಂದಿನ ದೇಂಟ್లోనూ పోయొద్దు నేను పోసుకుంటాను So this is where we stopped yesterday. We'll just go through this one more time. The wise person's will has served its purpose. This person for whom there is nothing to be done is a jnani, a wise person. Because there is nothing to be done for such a person, he or she is free to do a lot of things. When there is nothing to be done, what is there that is not to be done? There is no mandate for a jnani enjoining him to do any particular action or prohibiting him from doing any particular action. His or her job is over. Hereafter, the person's will has no place at all. Whatever will the person had before the knowledge took place has been successfully used up, having served its purpose. This is why sannyasis do not leave wills when they die. They have no will to leave a will. Only when will is there, will. Sometimes, if the sannyasi has many disciples, not leaving a will can cause problems as to who is to succeed him or her, and so on. Whereas, if he or she is a traditional sannyasi, a parampara sannyasi, and the disciples have been taught well, there will be no problem. There will be no vying for the sannyasi seat because there is no seat. There is no organization for a seat to be there. Each disciple is the seat, in fact. In the Hindu tradition, Vaidika Dharma, there is no organization or hierarchical structure. No papacy, diocese, parish, or congregation. Dharma, of course, has no organization. And in that dharma, there is a person, a sannyasi, who also has no organization. The very word sannyasi means that the person just lives with only the sky above him or her. The person is the only organization that is there. And if he has any disciples, every disciple there may be is an organization. This is how the parampara, the tradition is. The sannyasi does not even need the text of the Upanishads or the Gita. Everything is in the form of understanding within the person's head. There is no organizational head other than this head, and there is no organization other than this. So each sannyasi who is an enlightened sannyasi or Vidvat sannyasi becomes an organization in himself. That is how we have so many Upanishads where each one of them, the person who is a guru there is a different rishi altogether. And nobody claims that he is the head of the organization. Although we believe that all this started from Sadashiva. Knowledge has always been there in existence. It is not like it has started sometime. Someone has not started this knowledge. Knowledge is what is, and it has been there at the time of creation. Even before creation happened, there was knowledge. So that is our understanding. That is our, and therefore we don't have any organization. And therefore a sannyasi does not have any will to leave a will. Because he is what? A kritsna karma krit. He's done all that has to be done. Moksha means the jiva is gone. Once self-knowledge is gained, the job of the wise person is over and there is no will left. It has all been used up. The will is the purushartha, right? The will is useful only until moksha, just as one's checkbook is useful only as long as one's account is not closed. Once the account is closed, what is the use of the checks that you still have? They are useless. You can fill them out and give them to people, but they have no meaning. Similarly, when moksha is gained, the will is useless. The account is closed. The accountant has struck out the person's name with a red pen and has removed the file. One more jiva is gone, finished. And with this jiva goes everything else. Meaning that all the karma term deposits simply evaporate. There is no longer anyone to claim them. Just as when a person dies, his or her file is marked deceased, so too, the jiva's file is closed and dispensed with because there will be no further transactions or complications. No one else is going to claim the jiva's karma. It is all over. The file is shredded and burnt with no trace left behind. Therefore, the person is kritsna karma krit. Having gained moksha, the person has nothing more to do. So the analogy of how a bank account is closed and then the checkbooks and the checks are useless. They're of no use. Similarly, the purushartha, once moksha is gained, there is no need of purushartha and there's no purushartha left. Anybody wants to share anything? We'll go on to the next section. The next section is all about the Um, it's about the objections raised and Shankara's understanding, another perspective to this verse. Karmanyah karmayah paschet akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manusheshu sayuktah kritsna karma krit. So understanding of this verse will be how objections are presented in Vedanta. Here there is one small but highly technical objection raised by Shankara. This objection is based on a somewhat different interpretation that is sometimes given to this verse. Objections are raised in various ways in Vedanta. Certain philosophies are presented as sparring partners for us, like the Sankhya and Vaisheshika schools of thought. There is also a person referred to as Purva Mimamsaka, who is a little more than a sparring partner. Mimamsa is the analysis of the sentences of the Vedas. The analysis of the sentences in the Purva Bhaga, the earlier portion or Karma Kanda, is called Purva Mimamsa, while the analysis of the sentences of the Uttara Bhaga, the later portion, which is Vedanta, is called Uttara Mimamsa. Then there are those who are not really sparring partners at all. They are opponents, like the Bauddhas and Jainas, who have their own philosophies and have to be answered. To understand what Vedanta is saying, we use all of these as sparring partners by analyzing their particular arguments. Some are permanent sparring partners, others are by invitation only, and with still others, we do shadow fighting. It's like a debate. No, only when you have a debate can you make your point clear, and there is that clarity that dawns only when there are objections raised. So in Vedanta, there is this, the Mimamsa happens, and then there is objections raised. The philosophy of the Purva Mimamsaka is very simple. The Veda is eternal and is the final word in everything. According to the Purva Mimamsaka, the Veda enjoins you to do karma alone. For this person, knowledge is not moksha. Performing karma is the only way to gain moksha. Because the Purva Mimamsaka analyzes the pramana so well, we make use of his method of analysis in Vedanta. So rather than take any of the other opponents like Bauddhas or the Jainas, the Mimamsaka, Purva Mimamsaka does a thorough analysis of the Purva Bhaga, of the Karma Kanda. And what does he believe? The principle of Purva Mimamsa is that moksha is gained by doing karma and not by knowledge. The Purva Mimamsaka's argument, according to the Purva Mimamsaka, all sentences of the Veda deal primarily with action and therefore do not really convey anything that is already there. It should be clearly understood that the sentences throughout the entire Veda can be taken as commands in terms of what is to be done, Vidhi Vakya, or what is not to be done, Nisheda Vakya. Any sentence that reveals the nature of an object is connected to or subserves either a Vidhi Vakya or a Nisheda Vakya. This analysis of karma, karma mimamsa, is very important because the orientation of any human mind, even the minds of those who are lazy, is towards karma, action. A person who is lazy is bothered because of the action that he or she does not perform. Thus, both the active and the lazy are oriented towards karma alone. That there is something to be done is the truth about everyone. For the Purva Mimamsaka then, moksha can only be gained by performing Nitya Naimittika Karma. Nitya karmas are the daily rituals that one has to perform and certain other enjoined duties that are to be done. Naimittika karmas are those karmas that have to be done on certain occasions, as at the time of an eclipse. And these Nitya Naimittika karmas are to be done by everyone. Moksha, according to the Purva Mimamsaka, also involves not doing any kamya karma, the actions done for a specific desirable result. One must do only those actions which are duties. The idea here is to avoid both punya and papa. By not planning or performing any kamya karmas, punya is avoided. And by not doing what is not to be done, papa is avoided. In this way, the prarabdha karma that brought this body into being will exhaust itself without your needing to do anything about it. The capital will be lost and the body will die. Having avoided all punya and papa, there will be no new karmas for you and therefore no cause for a new birth. All you have to do is keep eating daily and do your nitya naimittika karma. This then is one argument for gaining moksha through karma, the simple argument of the Purva Mimamsaka. The two sets of karma, Nitya karma and Naimitika karma, are called duties. The Purva Mimamsaka argues that because they are duties, there is no result for you when you do them. In other words, they do not produce punya. And when you do not do these karmas, the omission attracts papa to you. This is the crux of the Purva Mimamsaka's argument. So this is the catch point. They say if you do your Nitya Naimittika karmas, because they are your duties, you do not gain any punya. But if you do not do them, you accrue papa. So that is where is their weak point. So how can one attract sin by not doing an action? An example is given. When a person bathes, no one notices. Because it's a common activity, no one says, oh, you seem to have taken a bath today. But suppose the person does not bathe. This omission is definitely noticed. If not by all, definitely by some. By the way, one of the Nitya karmas is taking a bath. Snana is one of the Nitya karmas. Thus, the Purva Mimamsaka's argument is that there are actions to be done, and if these are not done, there is a result. Nitya Naimittika karmas do not attract any result when they are done. Only when they are not done do they attract results, papa. This verse can therefore be seen from this standpoint. For the Purva Mimamsaka, the word karmani in the expression karmani akarmayaf pashet means nitya naimittika karmani, in the actions that are to be done daily or occasionally. And akarma refers to the absence of any result, phala abhava. Thus, the expression is taken to mean that one who sees akarma, the absence of result, in nitya naimittika karma, is wise. So, for the Purva Mimamsaka, karma is all. It is through karma only you gain moksha. Right? And what kind of karma? Not any karma. Nitya naimittika karma. So, karmani akarma yaf paschet is understood by the Purva Mimamsaka as when you do nitya naimittika karma, akarma yaf paschet. This akarma is lack of result. Karma phala abhava. But if there is no result to be gained, Nitya Naimitika karma cannot be called a karma at all because there is no doer. To this, the Purva Mimamsaka says, no, there is a doer. Atma is the karta. Therefore, you cannot nullify the doer. The result alone is not there. And because there is no result, the karma becomes as good as a karma. And why is there a karma? Because there is no result. Karma is as good as a karma. It's as good as you've not done anything. Although you're doing Nitya Naimittika karma. If there is no result, then why perform action? At this point in the argument, and any practical person is going to ask, if there is no result, why should I perform the action? After all, not more pleasant to do nothing? To do all these Nitya Naimittika karmas takes a lot of time. If there is no result, surely I need not do them. No, comes the reply. Because if you do not do them, you will bring trouble upon yourself. There are many people who choose to go to heaven only because they are mortally afraid of hell, not because they are interested in heaven. Hell has been painted so vividly in their minds that naturally they cannot stand think of having to go there. Even to hear about it makes their blood pressure go up. Therefore, they want to avoid hell by going to heaven. This kind of heaven hell discussion is what pushes people into religion, in fact. If the heaven and hell aspects are removed, these religions would topple. No one would even look into them. So, Nityanamitic karmas, is someone saying something? So, Nityanamitika karmas do not produce any result. So, then the objection is, practical objection is, then why at all do them? But the Purva Mimamsaka says, no, if you do not do them, you will, number one, incur sin, you will go to hell because you are accruing papa. By omitting doing them, you will incur papa. That example given was of not bathing. So, when the karma that is to be done by you is not done, you attract papa and therefore it is to be done. According to how some people interpret the karmani akarma portion of this verse. And the expression akarmani karma is interpreted as not doing an action that is to be done. According to this argument, if the to be done action is not done, a result phala is produced and it becomes karma. Therefore, karma is akarma and akarma is karma. Akarma produces phala and karma does not. The one who sees all of this in this way is wise among human beings and has done all that is to be done. Saha buddhiman manusheshu sayukta kritsna karma krit. This is the Purva Mimamsaka's argument, to which Shankara responds as follows. So you see how Advaita has looked at karmanyah karmayah pashet, that is with reference to the Atma, the non-doer. Whereas how the Purva Mimamsaka has taken this verse, understood this verse as karma is akarma. Why? Because Nitya Naimitika karmas don't produce a result, and akarma, not doing them, is karma, produces a result. So how does Shankara respond? Shankara's response: if what you do does not produce a result, and what you do not do produces a result, why do any karma at all? Thus, Shankara argues that what is not done does not produce unseen result, adrishta phala, in the form of punya and papa, although there can be drishta phala, seen results. The omission of a to be done action can produce conflict or worry. Just 1 second. So the omission of a to be done action. So what does Shankara says? He says, what is not done does not produce unseen result. This is what the Purva Mimamsaka has said. If you do not do, you will incur papa, which is an adrishta phala, right? Although there can be drishta phala, there can be some seen results, but not adrishta phala. The omission of a to be done action, like in the example of the bath, not taking a bath. So what is the drishta phala? That the person stinks, that the person is uncovered. He's not presentable. He's stinking. That's the drishta phala. The omission of a to be done action can produce conflict or worry, which is a drishta phala. For example, when you have to write a letter and you do not do it, there may be some conflict. It'll be gnawing at your head. Oh, I have to do it. I've not done it. I've not done it yet. In this way, there can be drishta phala, but no adrishta phala, which is punya and papa, the invisible results that accrue to the person who performs the action. We are talking only about punya and papa here. For a karma that is not done, there can be no papa or punya, and for a karma that is done, results cannot be avoided. This is
Jai
bottom.
Gurudev.
Yeah.
Then in that case, akarma is better, no? At least
Which
we will not
akarma?
the one. Is it then the argument of Purva Mimamsa? Drishtafala and Adrishtafala, if the akarma, if not doing any action, results
Hmm.
only the Drishtafala,
Hmm.
then it is better than doing any action.
It seems like that, but is there any true akarma in the true sense in Vyavahara? No one can sit without doing any action. So this akarma with respect to Advaita, according to what we understood all along till now, is what with respect to what? It is with respect to
Nitya karma, right?
Atma. Nitya Naimitika
Okay.
karma is the Purva
Okay.
Mimamsaka's.
Yeah.
That is, we'll park that on one side. That is the Purva
Okay.
Mimamsa's argument. But what is Swamiji said, what is Bhagwan meaning, and what is Shankara's Bhashya till now says is akarma. You cannot see, na kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krita. In the 3rd chapter, he says, no one can sit without doing anything, even for a second. So this akarma, so-called akarma that you're saying is good to do, akarma is better. Actually, as long as there is a doer, you cannot escape karma. There is no such thing as akarma. Because when you say, I am not doing anything, who is that I? I is the doer there. Akarma is with respect to Atma. With respect to Atma, the non-doer, then whether you do karma or so-called akarma, there is no action at all. With respect to doership, non-doership.
Right. What you say is right. Here, the argument was from Shankara, right? The
Yes.
that akarma, that not doing any action, will give drishtafala. So
Correct.
what I was saying, instead of having adrishtafala, it's better to have drishtafala. I mean, only between these two, drishtafala and adrishtafala, which is a better one.
Right, right. Correct.
But still, you can have a adrushya phala if you are not doing, or if you are doing also, because there are different types of results, no?
Shankara's argument is very clear. He says, any action will have a result, whether it is drishta or adrishta. That is number one. All action will have some phala. And not doing any action will not have an adrishta phala accrued to it. Like not doing nityanamitika karma, that guilt that you've not done it, that conflict, that constant nagging in the head that comes up in each one of us when we know we have to do a certain thing and we've not done it, that itself, according to Shankara, is the drishta phala. One may argue a person who does not know what he has to do, a person who's not exposed to these rituals and shastra, he is in total ignorance. Then for him, he does not even know. He's in slumber. But a person who is exposed to this Purva Mimamsa, who is exposed to Karma Kanda, he knows, okay, I have to do this Nitya Naimittika Karma. But suppose he chooses not to do, then that thing keeps on pricking him. So Shankara says that prick itself is a drishta phala. It is not an adrishta phala. And this papa and punya is what? It's adrishta phala, right? It is not something that you do not you do not see immediately. So he's saying we are talking only about punya and papa here. For a karma that is not done, there can be no papa or punya, and for a karma that is done, results cannot be avoided. Karma phala will always be there as long as the karma is there. I understand from where you're coming from, Rinal. When you say, then it's better to do, akarma. In the sense, you just get drishtaphala and that's it, it's done. There's nothing more accruing to your account. But we'll see how that goes on in a circle. It'll continue to, it'll keep you in this cycle of samsara. So even Nitya Naimitika karma produces results in the form of punya. See, which is what is the adrishta phala. That all of us, whoever is studying Vedanta, if that shastra, that anugraha is there, that grace is there, it is because of that adrishta phala of something that we may have done, either in this life or in the past lives, that has culminated in us having this interest in moksha. Even this moksha purushartha to be ignited requires some adrishta phala. So Nityanaimittika karmas, that is why Krishna also says, get them to the path of dharma, and then that's it. Be a role model. Take them away from adharma. This is what we need to do even for all our close, whoever we are associated with. So even Nityanaimittika karma produces results in the form of punya. Any to be done action, when it is performed, produces a result, and not doing it produces only drishta phala, seen results, and not papa. When what is to be done is not done, there is always some inner irritation, some sense that you have missed out. Daily meditation, for instance, definitely produces punya, if you do it, of course. If, however, out of laziness or for some other reason, you do not perform this action, your omission will not produce papa, although it may produce some irritation. You may feel badly that you did not do it. And if you did not do it the day before either, you may become even sadder. But this is drishta phala only, not adrishta phala. For an action that is not done, no result can accrue. Only for action that is done can there be adrishta phala, either punya or papa. If the action is proper, it will attract punya, and if it's improper, it will attract papa. This no result can accrue. We should understand this as no adrishta phala can accrue. Drishta phala is there. We've been seeing that. Shankara argues
So
that if an
Shankara also says there is means gahana karmano gati. So in that case, the adrushya phala or the whatever we are doing because of the adrushya phala.
I didn't understand. What do you
Actually,
want me
gahana
to handle?
karmano gati. If we do
Correct.
not do anything, there will be a drusya phala, but not a adrushya phala. But every action has some gahana karmano gati. So there will be some for not doing also. Shankara is clear, there is no adrushya phala. But what I was thinking, because the karma has a gahana gati, so there will be something which we will have in next lifetime or something like that.
That
Yeah,
is even if we
Purva
don't do.
Mimamsa
That is
is
what I'm saying.
okay. You will not acquire Papa and all that. But in Shankara's case, when he means what Swamiji is saying, ki you will not acquire the Drusha Phala, only Drusha Phala. But somewhere the karma, results of the karma is Gahan, like Gahana Karmano Gati,
Yeah,
whatever.
but that is, see, kahana karmano gati, he is right. But bringing it here in this context, that gahana karmano gatihi is what it is difficult to fathom way karma works, way karma phala works. That is in a broader context. But here we're coming down to the ground reality of doing, not doing karma. And this is an argument with what the Purva Mimamsa is saying, particularly to the argument that Purva Mimamsaka put forth, saying, if you omit doing your Nitya Naimitika karma, you will accrue papa. So we cannot bring in that Gahana Karmano Gatihi here and say, oh, see, how come Shankara is saying there is Drishta Phala and no Adrishta Phala, correct? So what Shankara says is, his argument is very clear. Any action will produce a result, either Drishta or Adrishta Phala. Drishta Phala is something that you see immediately. And he says, when you do not do an action, see, when you do not do Nitya Naimitika Karma, what is the Drishta Phala for that? That is that irritation that you have, that guilt that you have inside, that prick. Arey, I did not do it. Then what will happen? in the time, because a person cannot sit without doing any karma. I think this we've learned somewhere earlier, or it'll come up later in the other chapters. You will end up doing things which are not to be done. If you're not doing nitya karma, in the time that you have, what will you do? You might be doing some karma that might accrue papa. Right? So that way, adrishtaphala will be there for things that are. Here he's specifically talking of only not doing nitya naimitika karma. You get the point, right? So it is only with respect to omitting what you have to be, what you have to do, it produces drishtaphala. How you fill up that the time that you're not doing anything, not doing this nitya naimitika karma, that probably might produce. You might go and kill someone. You might go and hurt someone. You might be involved in something else. That will, of course, produce some papa phala, adrishta phala. So that then becomes gahana karmano gati. We do not know adrishta phala. Do we know what the adrishta phala is? That is completely unknown to us. That is why it's called adrishta phala. I don't know whether I was able to get the point across.
Is clear, Didi.
That is why, see, why do we have to do nitya naimitika karma? Why? In fact, I remember this, and it's our experience also. The Nana said, chant daily, at least during that time. Whatever you what Shastra says, nitya naimitika karma is on one side. Apart from that, you can yourself put up some nitya karma that you want to do every day, and you do it day by day. So in that time that you're doing that, you are not engaged in doing any other karma which might accrue, for instance, papa. If, for instance, you decide that you're going to chant Bhagavad Gita every day, how long does it take? 2.5 hours to 3 hours, if you do it at a stretch. So in that time, you are not doing something else which might get you the opposite results. Like lazing around, for instance. Some social media, or engaging in some activity that is non-social, that is um, um, an outlaw, anything. The mind, an idle man's mind is a devil's workshop. So you don't know what all might happen at that time, right? So and that can produce some papa karma, papa phala. For an action that is not done, no result can accrue. Only for action that is done can there be adrishta phala, either punya or papa. If the action is proper, it will attract punya, and if it is improper, it will attract papa. Shankara argues that if an action that is not done can produce results, then that which does not exist, asat, can produce that which exists, sat. To say that a non-existent thing can produce an existent thing is like saying that a non-existent mother can bear a son. This contradicts all means of knowledge. Sarva pramana virodha. It is equally contradictory to say that karmas that are done do not produce results. You cannot throw a stone and expect that there will be no result. There will be a result, especially if it hits someone. Something must take place. Some kind of reaction will be there. Therefore, action without reaction makes no sense at all. So he has gone directly to the highest. He's talked about existence. So if you say by not doing karma, if an action that is not done can produce results, then he says you can, from asat, from non-existence, you can have existence. You should be able to do that. But that is not what we see. A non-existent woman cannot produce a son. A barren woman, a woman who does not have a uterus, cannot produce a son. Now we might argue, oh, in this time and world, we have test tube babies. But leave that argument aside. But naturally, in the natural way, a barren woman cannot produce a son. Or a non-existent mother. There is no mother there. How can he or she produce a son? So, bottom line, any action has a result. And again, how can one become a Kritsna Karma Krit? By the mere knowledge that performing the Nitya Naimitika Karma is equivalent to akarma, and non-performance of the Nitya Naimitika Karma is equivalent to karma. Thus, Shankara raises yet another objection to the Purva Mimamsaka's argument. So the first objection was that the very understanding of karma, akarma of the Purva Mimamsa is fallacious, faulty. That if you do karma, Nityanayamitika karma, there is no result. That is akarma, according to the Purva Mimamsa. Shankara denounces that. He says, every action has a result. And he says, when you omit, act of omission also has a phala, and that is a drishta phala. And then second thing, he says, how can you become a Kritsna Karma Krit? Just by knowing that doing Nitya Naimitika Karma, you do not have result. And by not doing, you have result. Just by having this as a concept, how will you become a Kritsna Karma Krit? Jnana is what is being talked about here. Knowledge of karma and akarma. But mere knowledge does not produce results. Doing something produces results. How then can you say that the person is Kritsna Karma Krit? You cannot. You can only say he or she is the one who knows all the karmas that are to be done and not to be done. Kritsna Karma Vit Bhavati. Natu Kritsna Karma Krit Bhavati. Kritsna Karma Vit Bhavati. Natu Kritsna Karma Krit Bhavati. So there's a small difference there. Small, actually, big difference. So one is just knowing that doing action will not produce result. This is again according to Purva Mimamsaka. Whereas mere knowledge does not produce results. Doing something produces. You can only say, according to the Purva Mimamsaka, Shankara says, when that person knows that, has only this concept, then he says you can only say he or she is the one who knows all the karmas that are to be done and not to be done. Kritsna Karma Vit Bhavati, natu Kritsna Karma Krit. Whereas the Kritsna Karma Krit is one we've seen previously, that he has done all that is to be done. No more actions are there for him to do. There is no will. The Purushartha is evaporated in the wake of moksha. That is Jnanena. Jnanena, he understands what? Very simple, that I am the non-doer. I am Atma, who is Purna, who is Nirvikalpa. So therefore, in that non-doership, this resolves all the actions that are to be done. He has as though completed. Nothing else needs to be done by him. Whether he chooses to do or is a different matter as a Jivan Mukta. But from Jiva, he is transformed to a Jivan Mukta. That is the actual Kritsna Karma Krit. Otherwise, according to Purva Mimamsa, he is only a Kritsna Karma Vit. There is nothing to be done, only to be seen. Kritsna Karma Krit refers to a person of fulfillment, one who has achieved everything, a liberated person, a Mukta Purusha. Krishna makes this point clear not only here, but before also, when he said that he would tell Arjuna about action and inaction, knowing which one is liberated. Tatte karma pravakshami yad jnatva mokshase ashubhat. Had there been anything to be done, Krishna would have used the expression yat kritva, doing which, and not yat jnatva, knowing which. So this knowing that the Purva Mimamsa is talking about is a very superficial knowing. Just okay, I'm doing Nitya Naimittika karma. That's it. I continue to do this. I will attain moksha at the end. That's only knowing at a very superficial level. He, according to him, Atma is a karta. Whereas the knowledge that Bhagwan is meaning here, when he says, Tatte karma pravakshami yad jnatva. That jnatva is what? A deeper understanding, and that is true knowledge of that the Atma is non-doer. In analysis, Mimamsa, what has been said before must always be kept in mind. Otherwise, there would be no analysis. When Krishna says knowing which, he meant knowing what karma is and what akarma is, which is not as easy as you may think. Karma is not to be taken as merely performing action, nor is akarma to be taken as not doing action. The real nature of karma and akarma is something that has to be understood by you, knowing which you will be released from all punya and papa, that is inauspicious. The Purva Mimamsaka says that you have to do karma. But what is said here is that by knowing the nature of karma and akarma, you are released from all punya and papa. This is what is meant by vakyartha vichara, inquiry into the sentence. The inquiry is done to find out what the sentence means and whether it has any other meaning. If there is any other meaning possible, it will reveal a philosophy, a stand. Here, a particular stand is analyzed by Shankara and then dismissed as not being what was intended, as not being the meaning of the sentence. So much of insight Shankara must have had. First of all, getting to understand it. And second, to put up another argument, physical person, although there were instances where he had physically had dialogues and debates with other philosophers. But here he is bringing up the Purva Mimamsaka. He is taking the stand of the Purva Mimamsaka, seeing it from that perspective, and then analyzing it, inquiring into it. That is the Vakyartha Vichara. And here a particular stand is analyzed by Shankara and then dismissed as not being what was intended, as not being the meaning of the sentence. So he's laying it out clearly. He's clarifying the whole thing. He says, this can be also understood this way, this verse, from the Purva Mimamsaka standpoint. But finally, this is not what is intended. In this verse, Krishna is referring to knowledge alone. His description of one who has this knowledge continues in the next verse. So finally, we've come to verse 19. What is the time? We have 4 minutes left. I think we'll do Manana on this. We'll start the next shloka afresh tomorrow. So let's all share. Let's all just reflect on all that we have listened, understood. And will be good for each one of us to share at least 1 or 2 sentences. Anybody wants to share?
What Shankara says about Drusha and Adrusha that I got, but what will be the Papa and Punya? If we are not doing any action, there will be only Drusha Phala. But that Papa, in context of Papa and Punya, how can we relate it?
Yeah.
Because
So
in Purva Mimamsa, it is said Papa and Punya will act. Okay, please.
So if you do not do what is to be done, you will end up doing what is not to
What is
be
not to
done.
be done?
Correct, no?
Hmm.
And that you will get Papa.
Oh, huh.
No, but it could be always like, suppose if we have a choice between two things, which could be,
Then Punya will come.
which need not be related to Adrusha Phala. So many a times, like when we don't do it, it's only the Drishta Phala we are going to have the consequence, right? It need not be not to be
Correct.
done karyas. So what Sarlaji was saying, what about the Papa Punya part of Drishtafala? So there is no Drishtafala. For
Papa Punya itself is Adrishta.
That's why she, I think, but she's feeling that even if it is a Drishtafala, there will be a Papa Punya part also. Is that, am I right, Sarlaji?
Correct, correct, correct.
She's feeling that there will be Papa Punya also. But Shankara is saying that there won't be Adrishtafala. There will be only Drishtafala.
Correct.
That she needs to.
That is something I understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what Shankara says.
But what you say is also correct. When if you are doing what you have not to do, then Papa will incur.
Correct.
So even in Drusha, Drusha Phala may be different, but because of doing something else, you will get a Papa.
Correct. So if the person's life, like for example, look at the Sadhana Panchakam, it is, Shankara has laid out how your sadhana has to be. In that, what are all the things he has said? He said, don't engage too much into the world. One of those 40 odd, injunctions that he has given, sadhanas. Study the Veda daily. So, if you end up, so if your whole life from the morning time you wake up to the time you sleep is occupied in this, then where is the point, where is the scope or the opportunity for you to do any other thing? So your life is on track, right?
And in this case, that Purva Mimamsa say you are eating, sleeping, and doing only Nitya Naimitya Karma. But Shankara says be practical, be in the means that transactional life and this both lives parallel.
Parallel, and not just parallel. He's saying you understand. Purva Mimamsa is saying you will not get result, you will not accrue any result if you do Nitya Naimitika Karma. That's such a fallacy, isn't it? He's saying you do Nitya Naimitika Karma, there is no Punya Papa because you're just doing your duty.
But not doing, you will acquire a Papa.
You'll acquire. So that argument itself is fallacious. That is what he meant by saying, by not doing, you're getting Papa is like a non-existent woman giving birth to a son. From Asat, you're getting Sat. How is this possible? So, right. So we'll go to the next verse tomorrow. Bela is there. Bela, if you're there, if you can chant that verse, we'll close. Actually, you know what? Maybe you should just voice record it so we can maybe just play it. Because if you're otherwise occupied, I don't want to disturb you.
It is for my benefit also.
And you know, this beautiful verse, see, that's the beauty, you know, everything, whatever you've taken, whatever is there from the Shastra or on this path, everything leads to the same thing. This beautiful meaning of this verse that Bela is about to sing and chant is likewise.
And Pramana is also the Ved Vakya. So
yeah. So I'll just chant the Shanti part and then you can see. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म अत्र वेदान्तमेव प्रमाणम् बोधक सद्गुरु तत्त्वनिष्ठः ईश्वरानुगृहीतेन वेद्यम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्मा ज्ञानगम्यं तुरीयं हृदयस्थम् आत्मरूपं हि तत् येन ज्ञातम् सोऽध्वनः पारमाप्नोति सत्यम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म ब्रह्मज्ञस्य तु ब्रह्मैव सर्वम् नास्ति मोहो भयं नैव दुःखम् तस्य स्वानन्दमग्नं हि चित्तम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेवाद्वितीयं हि ब्रह्म ब्रह्मैव सत्यम्